Hello everybody, and welcome to the third installment of my series where I play all of Kingdom Rush Alliance from a fresh save file on impossible difficulty. Now, I know that the last scripted video that I made, which was This Community is Dumber, I was talking about how I wanted to see some more high quality videos about Kingdom Rush Alliance, and yet here I am doing unscripted commentary over gameplay of Alliance, which you could see almost anywhere else, like on YouTube. I mean, I could probably find it on other websites as well. I'm sure there's plenty of footage on Bilibili and all the other websites. For all I know, people are doing it on TikTok as well, but I'm not over there. Still, it seems a bit contradictory to what my intentions were, but like I was trying to explain in the first episode of this series, I realized that I would have no videos at all to upload in between the wait times for me to just gather more experience with Alliance, because I feel like I need that in order to draw a good conclusion about all the things that I want to make videos about. For example, a review of Alliance. I have reworked that script so many times and it's already like 10,000 words. The last time I recorded me reading out the script, it was like a 50-minute recording. I did it all in one take, just for the microphone to get messed up. But it's fine, because I realized that I need to update the script yet again, for like the 6th time or something like that. Maybe 7th now. The amount of times that I've recorded the script, all in one take by the way, have been like around 4 or 5 times. I wasn't really keeping track because I didn't think this was going to happen so much, but my standards for the video are extremely high, and it's mostly because I am starting to become more competitive, I guess. Perhaps with myself, or perhaps just with like what else there is out there on YouTube, so that way, my video still has a point. Because when there's something else that already exists, it feels like there's no point in me making the video myself, because I just kind of have the same opinion. People have in the past asked me about doing an Iron Marines hero tier list, and my opinion is literally the exact same as King Rexy's opinion. So I would just refer people to go watch his video ranking them, because it's literally the same experience that I would try to provide to people myself. So in terms of like a review of Alliance and all that kind of stuff, I don't even want to make it a review in the same sense that like some other ones are, where people are talking about, oh, should you buy the game and this and that. No. Mine is more of a critique where I analyze all the different aspects of the game and talk about what could have been done better, how to do it better, in my opinion, and the stuff that I think was done well, why it's done well, and how to keep up the good work, stuff like that. So for every single element of the game that there is to analyze, it takes several layers. It kind of reminds me of in school when they teach you sort of the formula for writing a good essay, where you have to have your evidence and then your explanation afterwards for it. It kind of feels like that, where I have my like example in the game, and then I have my explanation of its quality, and then after that I have my explanation of like what the good or the best thing is to do. An example of that would be stuff like the hero XP. I explain how it works based on the difficulties, and then I explain like what my opinion is of it working that way, and then I say how I think it should be different. Stuff like that. Also, I just want to point out here that I learned for the first time that the bleed damage can actually be lethal in this game that you get from those rats. I thought that, like most other damage over time effects, that it would leave the unit at 1 HP so that Raylan wouldn't die, but oh well. Hero deaths are pretty punishing in this game. They're all 30 seconds long, I guess, to even out the fact that you have 2 heroes at once. So it's kind of like having 15-second cooldowns, I guess, if you want to see it that way. I don't, personally, because you're just operating at half efficiency for 30 seconds. So even if you take the expected value and get like 100% efficiency lost, I guess, for 15 seconds, you're going to think about it that way. It's way too impractical of a comparison. Anyways, though, as you can see here, I went for full tri-cannon gameplay at first to start off with, and that's because the heroes are carrying the whole level. If it wasn't for them, I probably would have lost him at the Tri-Cannon. I just have a feeling that the Tri-Cannon's not good enough to be able to handle these enemies. I mean, look at the damage that it's dealing. You need to get it to level 2 for that efficiency. Also, big L on my part because I missed the link thing that they have there, where you can get extra money if you click on him when he has the exclamation mark. 25 gold as well. It's not insignificant at this point in the game. Later on in the game, I feel like 25 would be kind of insignificant, but hey, money's money, so it's always still nice. But again, you got to be practical about it. That's why the extra gold you get from Prince Dinas is so marginal. You can afford like an extra tier 4 tower by wave like 12. You know, it's barely anything. As for other stuff to comment about the game so far, one thing that I really noticed here is that melee aggro range for units is so big here. Like, if you want to get a unit to heal, they will struggle in that regard if there are enemies nearby. You have to really move them really far out of the way, it feels like, compared to what I'm used to, because they'll just keep on walking to enemies. And it's especially bad when, even if you do want them in combat, they're spending so long walking from one edge of their range to the other edge of their range, because it's just so large that they spend almost more time walking than they do actually blocking. And that's just annoying. I find that a kind of small complaint, but also kind of not, because it affects the game feel perpetually. So that's the kind of stuff that I would like to see improved upon in a future update. Maybe instead of the range being 83.2 or whatever they set it to, make it just a little bit smaller, like 2/3 of that amount or 3/4 of that amount, something like that. 65 was already kind of a long range for melee aggro, but I can see why they would want to keep it that way. In the rebalanced mods, I try to make melee aggro range about 50 for most heroes, and then around 40 for ranged heroes, so that way they wouldn't go into melee combat as often. But over here, oh my gosh, trying to get Therian to stay out of melee combat is so annoying. It's worse than with Erevan. If you've seen my streams, you know that I have my gripes with Erevan going into melee combat. But enough about the streams. That's another thing that is actually me trying to have higher quality with the videos. I wanted to stream less because I realized that I was not working on any videos because I was streaming instead and burning myself out from Kingdom Rush, because if I stream for like 2 hours or something like that, then I'm not going to be in the mood to go do videos. And see, right there, you can see Raylan walking to that Bear Vanguard, only to then walk all the way over to the Tusked Brawler to try to attack both of those enemies, when I just wanted her to heal in between both of those guys. But oh well. And then I built a Tri-Cannon hoping that its range would reach, but there's nothing on the top sub lane. So, oh well, not gonna fit. One thing that I wanted to mention though about me tryharding in these stages is that I just wanted to get more XP for the heroes. And I realized a little bit too late that I could have farmed the XP a little bit harder here. I could have sold the towers and then let Raylan do all the work. Like, what am I doing here? Am I about to sell it? I don't even remember from my footage, and this was only a few minutes ago. Okay, no, I didn't do that, but I was probably thinking about it. I'll give myself the credit there. There must have been some profound thinking going on during this footage. Anyways, though, simple enough procedure to win there, but I wanted to stall out the waves a little bit by not calling them instantly, so that way I could get just that little bit more XP for each of the heroes. Now, getting them past level 3 is really unlikely, whoa, words, because there's like an expected level cap that they have on here. So it's one of my Kingdom Rush Science video topics about how to level up heroes faster. Play on the easiest difficulty, which I'm not doing, and then also try to play the latest stages in the campaign possible, because you get a nerf to your XP gain rate if you are playing at an easier level where the game expects your hero level to be lower. So if your hero's level is higher than the expected level, you get an XP penalty. Now, here I'm just going for Onslaught because it increases your attack speed, so she's going to temporarily get more XP per second by triggering that. I also went for the XP stuff in terms of the star upgrades over here. So all of this is with the intent to get Raylan to level 3, because Vesper is going to get a really low amount of XP going forward, but oh well. As long as we get Raylan to level 3, we should have a decent boost to help us succeed when we get to the Iron, which is where things are marginally difficult. Yeah, and over here, I once again try to rush for the level 2 Tri-Cannon, because I feel like that's better than going for the level 1. The level 1 is just so pathetic. Level 2 is still pathetic. It's still the trash cannon in my opinion. But yeah, another tactic that I'm using here is I'm having Raylan fight the basic pig enemies rather than the armored ones. And the reasoning for this is twofold. One is that she gets more XP from fighting enemies that aren't armored, so she's dealing her full damage to them. So that's already better. And then the second reasoning is that I can have Vesper go be the one that fights the Tusked Brawlers. And those guys deal a little bit more damage, and so I can get Vesper to low HP. You want him at low HP because then he's going to be able to trigger his disengage skill. And that's basically optimal Vesper gameplay. You just do what you do with Eridan. Oh, voice crack. You do what you do with Eridan, so that way he can like use both of his melee and range skills, like basically off cooldown. And then you have the additional reason of trying to get him to stay at low HP all the time, so that way disengage can be used off cooldown as well, because it's the highest damaging skill he's got. Wait, yeah, it is. I had to remember if Martial Flourish was stronger, but it's 270, I believe, whereas this is 3 times 120, which is 360. So disengage is a little bit better. Still physical damage only though, which is big oof for Vesper. This would not reflect well on his report card. One other thing that I should mention is that a decent strategy that you can use against a lot of enemies is just wasting their skills early on by using whatever like tower triggers them. Similar to Rocket Riders in Kingdom Rush 1, you just hit them with any projectile and then they immediately use their boost up and then they can't boost again, ever. Like the cooldown is basically infinite, so it's a one-time thing, so you just want to waste it right away. It's not like it's actively harmful to you, because otherwise they'll use it when it's closer to the exit. So same thing with the Cutthroat Rats. Just put some units there in front so that way they can trigger their ability, and then they won't be able to trigger their ability afterwards. So there's not really much else that I have to say about these levels for right now. It is what it is. I like that there's a big tanky enemy that you can fight and counter with mages. It's just that since you can only get to level 2 with the mage anyways, and there's not that much else in terms of like variety here, you kind of just focus on putting all your damage into those guys and sometimes dealing with the Cutthroat Rats. So you can already witness that gameplay here rather than needing me to explain it for everybody. So that's all I got, meaning that we can go proceed onto my Q&A stuff that I have to read out. Sorry, I couldn't remember what the word for that was. So a couple of questions here, and again, this is like 3 years ago, by the way, that these questions were pending. JPRT asks, what's your opinion on the direction Ironhide is going in as a company? Now, my answer back then is almost the same as it is now, to be honest. I feel like Kingdom Rush fans could stand to be a lot more critical of the games. I feel like only Coziness is really all that critical of them, and some people on the Discord, but even then those people are quite rare. Shout out to Cynics. But for the rest of you guys, you know what, if you like it, fair enough, you know, that's good. I'm not saying that you don't have to like it, but I think there's a lot that should be criticized here. Like, the localization in these games still leaves a lot to be desired, and I think that it shouldn't be tolerated. I think that there's an abundance of misleading descriptions and other things that just don't work the way they say they do. And on top of that, the descriptions themselves don't work sometimes. You just have typos, like the thing with Lumineer's ability on Steam at least. It just says 4 and then 4 again, like FOR. It says for 4 seconds, but yeah, not FOUR. There's stuff like that, and a couple of other things that show a little bit of a lack of polish. And whether or not it's Ironhide or the localization, like independent contractors that are doing this, it's still Ironhide that's publishing the game in this state, and so they need to sit down and have a talk with the localization people, whoever's in charge of doing that. I think should be replaced or needs to step up their game, because there's an abundance of problems with that. In terms of Ironhide's other practices, like, you know, they've added monetization for the towers long ago, and so that's just kind of a mainstay here. It's one of the areas where I feel like as a consumer, you kind of are at the whims of the creator, right? Like if every single game publisher just decided to make every game be worth like $70 now, and just decided that's the new price of a full price game, then people will just kind of put up with that. I feel like there's no way that anyone's gonna fully boycott that sort of thing, and so we'll probably just be stuck with that price forever. Same thing here with the premium towers, or this whole tower system, right? You're always gonna have that forever, no matter how much you dislike it. I think you're kind of just at the whims of Ironhide to have to do it this way. Also, mission success on getting Raylan to level 3. That is what I wanted. So, overall, Ironhide's not that bad on the, like, at the end of the day. Like, they could be a lot greedier, a lot worse in that regard, but I think they could be doing a lot better too. I don't think that we should just be happy that things aren't worse. And I don't think we should just be content with getting like another Kingdom Rush game. But I'll go into more detail about that in the Alliance critique on what I mean about that. That's kind of the thing that I needed to update the script about. So I don't have my full complete thoughts on that anyways. One thing that I do want to point out though, and I feel quite flabbergasted by this, it's that Ironhide asked me to do that interview with them where I made that video entitled it Kingdom Rush Alliance is in good hands. They wanted me to do that, and they said that if I did that video where I just post part of the like any parts of the interview, then they would post parts of the interview on their own like site and advertise the content creators, I guess, for like our benefit. Well, I made that video and I tried to make it into like, you know, a video rather than just like, let me just upload the interview itself and then just let that count as a video. No, nothing like that. I gotta add some pizzazz, some sparkle into it by doing some analysis and then using that to form a conclusion about the state of the game and the future of the game. I went through all the effort to do that right, and I haven't seen them post anything about the interviews on their channel. I even DM'd the community manager about it, and she's like, oh yeah, we'll make sure to do that. I did this a week before the release of the game, by the way. She's like, oh yeah, if our video editor doesn't do it, then I'll do it myself. Which was like, oh, okay. I thought to myself, that's kind of crazy that she'll just do the video editing herself, but alright, cool. I haven't seen that video, and it's been like a month now since then, so I don't know what's going on by that, but I definitely would say that I feel a bit betrayed by Ironhide at this point. Not that that colors my other statements at all. I think all that kind of stuff holds regardless of this situation, but it does factor into my overall opinion of Ironhide as a company. I think the direction that they're going in, that kind of behavior suggests to me that they're trying to pretend to care about the content creators without actually caring about them. So I feel a bit exploited in that regard. But the main thing that kind of flabbergasted me about this is that I was thinking about it and talking about it with one of my other friends, and it's quite possible that the way they set it up was by technicality like a not really a contract, but they kind of made it into an advertisement then, since they promised me a reward for doing that. So technically that would be sponsored content, even though I really didn't want to use that video as an advertisement for the game. That's something that I would never want to do, but because of the like formal definitions of these kinds of things, I think it technically is. So now I feel really bad too, because not only did I unintentionally sell my soul, because I did not register that as an advertisement at the time that I did it. I just, genuinely thought of it as an interview, like journalism almost, my baby's first journalism. But now I've unintentionally sold my soul for nothing because I didn't even get the advertisement from Ironhide in return, like for my channel. I just advertised their channel or their game, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I got the worst of both worlds is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, don't say that I need to eat my words about the tri-cannon because of the way I'm using it here. All right. I'm putting in a bunch of effort in order to force this strategy to work by dealing with all of these guys here. The tri-cannon does not feel good to use, and it's not just because of this being a challenge run. But yeah, I'll think more about my my overall take on the tower now, or not now, but from here onwards, I'll think more about it. Anyways, I got some other things that I want to read out here. A couple of the comments that I got on that Q&A announcement were just congratulating me on getting to 1,000 subscribers. So, Destry Dan asks, and also it's really cool to see Destry Dan here. I remember him as the Ocean Stream donator, the big one. Which one is your favorite games and rate them from Ironhide Game Studio? So basically asking me to rate the Kingdom Rush games. So at the moment, I feel like I would put Junk World at the bottom, then Iron Marines Invasion, then Iron Marines 1, then Kingdom Rush Vengeance, then Kingdom Rush Alliance, I think, and then, ooh, that's spicy. The original trilogy is the hardest one for me to rate, because I feel like I flip-flop between them quite a bit. Like, for example, I still have a very high opinion of Frontiers. I think it's very fun, so to me that probably is my number one choice. I think in terms of how fun the gameplay is, I like that the best. The Kingdom Rush 1 just has so many levels that are also fun to play, because the waves are really satisfying to counter, so that's fun too. Origins has like both of those things, I would say. Like the waves are still fun to counter for the most part, but I don't know. I would probably still rate Origins as my third favorite, and then do Kingdom Rush 1 and then Frontiers. I think that's what my definitive opinion would be, because I feel like that's kind of what I've defaulted back to several other times in the past as well. So yeah, that would be my ranking for now. Also, I'm not including like some other Ironhide games there because I've never played them. So no Smart Alex, please. Let's see. There's somebody asking me about covering Junk World and Legends on here, so that's kind of a done deal. It's already happened. Okay, and then I got other people asking me about my name. So rather than asking me about Voduke, somebody was asking me about the other name that I've used before, Big Bad Bug. So the origin for this is actually me looking out my window, seeing a Volkswagen Beetle, the car, parked in the cul-de-sac, and then thinking to myself that, because it has the nickname Bug, like people call that a Volkswagen Bug, or just the Bug, that if I named myself something after a bug and had people try to guess what the bug is, they wouldn't guess that first. They would guess some sort of insect. So I decided to use that as my username, and then I just needed to come up with something alliterative. Also, look at me trying to force a cool finish on this level here. So I just came up with Big Bad Bug for my username. So I used that on the forums and on a couple of other websites, like for the Kingdom Rush wiki. But yeah, there's me going oons with the zoom in feature on here. Just gotta play around a little bit, Speaking of playing, I guess I'll be playing the next level next time. See you guys later when I have more questions to answer.